Welcome to the Gender Text Project tutorial. This tutorial will demonstrate how to adapt and submit texts to the Gender Text Project. The project allows users to radically alter the gender of characters in a story, enjoy gender swapping characters while examining unconscious biases in gender and writing. The first step is to create an account. Click on Login, then Create New Account. You'll need to put in an email, a username, and a password. So the next step is to select a text. Remember, only use written material which is either out of copyright, to which you hold the copyright, or which you've obtained permission from the copyright holder to use for this project. Project Gutenberg is a great source of material that's already in the public domain. For this tutorial, we're going to use a story by Hans Christian Andersen called The Emperor's New Clothes. So we've decided we want to use that. We can start our text. The first step is to add in a title, select an author. Hans Christian Andersen is already in our list of authors. If the author you're using is not, you can add the author by clicking here. You want to add a genre and the year. For this story, it's 1837. I'll put in a placeholder for now. I'll come back in the next step and show you how you modify and add the text. And you may want to leave yourself a note about where you are in the process, and you want to save and create the draft. And from here you have a draft that you can work on going forward. Now that you have started your draft, the next step is to add the characters. I'm actually going to enlarge the screen size. We can see this a little better. There are 6 characters in this story. Interestingly, some of them are not defined as a male or a female. So technically, you could just leave them out of this, and you wouldn't have to replace them. But I'm going to include them just to show how they work. So for example, the swindlers, they are not defined as male or female. So actually I'm going to call them non-binary, although they don't ever get a gendered one way or the other pronoun. It's not clear if they're male or female. So, but for this legend, I'm going to call them non-binary. Similarly, the courtiers are not defined as male or female, so they're going to be non-binary in this. The father is definitely defined as a male. And the last character is the child. And technically, you could leave this as a child, but I think for the sake of this project, you know, if you wanted to change it to a boy or a girl, you could, but originally it's just a child. So there we have our characters. If you want to remove them, you can, or reorder them, you can. So for example, if you think the swindlers are more important to the story than the minister, you can move the swindlers up as a priority. And that looks pretty good. So we're going to save it, and we can go down to the end and save it. So now we've added our characters. We have a draft, but we're not done yet. We have not added the story. It's only 2 words. So we need to add the story. So we're going to go to Edit Draft. That'll take us back where you can add more characters. As you scroll down, that's where we're going to put the text. And we are getting our text from Project Gutenberg. Everything on Project Gutenberg is public domain. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to add it to our prepare tool. You can get to the prepare tool from the tutorial. I'm going to scroll down to use text preparation tool. We're going to take that out and we're going to paste the text that we got from Project Gutenberg, and we're going to click identify and tag, and now we have this other story. I'm going to select all of it, copy it, and move it here to the body. And now we have the tagged story. It's not done yet. We're going to have to go through and replace this phrase name here with the correct character. So the next step is to tag each placeholder with the correct character. You're going to have to read through the text and replace the tag, the name here, with the character associated with that gendered word. That allows the word to change to fit the character that is using the word. So there was an emperor who was so fond of new clothes that he, who's the he, the emperor, is spending all his money. Whose money is it? The emperor's money. So you have to go through and replace all of these name heres. Now there's one idiosyncrasy of the English language, that the determiner pronouns for the genders don't sync up. So for the Gender Text Project, we have to work around that. So for example, if you spent all of his money on them, this could look like all of him money, about his soldiers, him money, or if you change it to the female, it'll be all of hers soldiers, all of hers new clothes. So that's not going to work. There is a pretty good table and explainer on the tutorial page on the call out section of the determinative forms of the pronouns. So here you need it to be his. We're going to add a D to those. Actually, I'll show you if we don't add a D what it's going to look like. Oh, and then one other thing I'm going to fix is this an emperor. So I realized with the non-binary, we have a sovereign. It would be an sovereign, but that's going to sound weird. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to change this to an arrogant sovereign, because that starts with a vowel. So that should be good. So let's save it and let's try reading it. Let's make everybody female. You can just see the first part. So the emperor's new clothes. Oh, I didn't fix that. I have to fix that later. Many years there were, oh, I didn't do that right. I fixed that too. There was an, oh, I know why. The brackets, was so fond of new clothes that she spent all of hers money. Oh my goodness, there's so many things wrong with this. Hers money, she cared nothing about hers soldiers. Oh, we got to fix this. So in order to make the name correct, so here we're going to have an emperor. We're going to, so in order to have it be the name, so I want it to be an arrogant sovereign, I have to move the brackets. I have to delete the space between the brackets for it to know that that's the name and not the noun. And then we're going to fix these determinative pronouns. So I'm going to make it his with a D. So it's going to be her money. I have to make it his soldiers, his new clothes, his, oh, this is another mistake. So the preparation tool is not perfect. It has this little apostrophe in there, or the little mark. So it missed that he. So you're going to have to go through and catch him. So he in his council chamber, the emperor in his, we have to fix that. Okay, so let's save it. Save. We're going to try it again. Let's make a male this time. Many years ago there was an emperor who was so fond of new clothes that he spent all of his money. So if we change it to all female, let's see how that would read. Gotta make sure it's all of her money. Okay, so that's correct. And then if we make the emperor, Non-binary, it should say an arrogant sovereign. Excellent. So that's a little cheat. So you're going to have to go back and go through, read the whole text. And like I said, find all of these, name here, and replace them with the right person. So we've got the text, we've got the characters. It looks pretty good. I added the author and the published date. I'm also going to add a link to the original text. You can add hyperlinks here so that people can find the original text. So I think it looks good. I've tested it a few times. You can save it, test it out. We're going to make everybody female. That's usually a good way to do it. And just read through it all and say, yeah, okay. Looks right. We got the faithful minister. We got everything. Look at. Okay, great. I like it. So now you're ready to request a review. We think it looks good. And we'll apply. And the moderator will review it and make any suggestions. And if it looks good, then it gets onto the library. Thank you for following. If you have any questions, you can contact us, and hope to see you on the project.